What's good, LeBrie? What's up with you? What's up with you? She says you're gonna behave. It's not you I'm worried about, it's Blackbird. And maybe Caleb. See if this thing on. I think it is. Yep. Boom. There we good. We are good. We good to go. Cool, cool, cool. Hit that like button too on the way in. Episode 3 to Playback Reel. Hit that damn like button. We gotta talk about this damn Packers game and a couple more games. Because there's a lot of late game victories and things like that. Some late game comebacks too. And I wouldn't be surprised if this game ends the same way. Whether it be the Ravens with a comeback win or the Ravens take the lead and then the Lions fuck around and do some shit. But them script writers was cooking this Sunday. They was on another level. I don't know if they did some lines or something beforehand, but it was wild. Thursday night football, we already know the Dolphins lost. They en route to fire their head coach sooner rather than later. The Colts put belt to ass to the Titans. We don't really need to explore that too much because the Titans are a lost cause for this season. Maybe they pick it up next year. Maybe they fire their coach. Who knows? Get that chat on the screen. All right. Now, the Steelers. Steelers ended up getting a win against the Patriots, 21-14. Patriots did everything in their power to not score on their final drive. Receiver back jukes, like I mentioned on my YouTube short. This nigga back juked when he could have just leaned forward and got the first down, and they still would have had a chance to win the game. But my oh my, the main storyline of this game was Aaron Rodgers, number 8, throwing the ball to number 4, DK Metcalf, passing number 4, Brett Favre, to be 4th all time in passing. He ain't the only one who passed somebody on Sunday as far as career touchdown passes, should I say. So I think, Pittsburgh, they're gonna be in the playoff hunt. They're gonna be in the mix. The games are slick ugly as fuck though, which I shouldn't be surprised. It's a normal thing for the Pittsburgh Steelers to get ugly wins and things like that. Even when they had Justin Fields or Russell Wilson, there were some ugly wins. Might have been some bright spots, but there's a lot of ugly wins. New York Jets looked like they was out of it for the longest time in this game. I chalked it up as a dub. I was like, yeah, these niggas are not going to come back and win this game. And lo and behold, it was like 5 minutes to go. It felt like those 5 minutes took forever. And the craziest part was Red Zone didn't even focus on this game until way after the Eagles-Rams game, after the Steelers and Patriots game. What was the other close game? Browns and Packers. That game was a complete afterthought. Complete afterthought. But this is one of the games where they had to block field goal. Jets would score on it. They would take the lead, but they gave the Bucks just enough time to go down there and kick a game-winning field goal. Wouldn't be the only game-winning field goal this weekend. Raiders beat the Commanders. Or excuse me, the Commanders beat the Raiders. Geno actually had a decent game, but they still lost. Like I said, the Raiders are a sideshow. Rams. The Rams, Slick should have won this game against the Eagles. They really should have. But the way they lost it was quite hilarious. They were in position after the Eagles took the lead late because A.J. Brown started cooking. Jalen Hurts started cooking. But the Rams had a chance to take the lead late with a field goal. But guess what happened? Lo and behold, another blocked field goal. This time the Eagles ran it back for a touchdown, so they get 33 points. That same number we saw a lot last week, and we're going to probably see every single week in the NFL, but we most certainly saw it yesterday. And speaking of the Rams, Matt Stafford, number 9 Matt Stafford, mind you, threw his 382nd career touchdown pass, surpassing Matt Ryan for 9th. So number 9 went to 9th all time, just like how number 8 threw to number 4 to pass number 4 to become number 4 all time in passing touchdowns. Atlanta Falcons and the Carolina Panthers, lopsided, one-sided, if you will. 30-0 Carolina Panthers. Falcons blanked after an ugly game on Monday night or Sunday night football last week. This one, stinker, nothing. Nathan, zilch. There are a few blowouts actually. Cincinnati, backup quarterback bowl. Vikings put up 48 on their ass, 48-10. I don't think this is gonna be the norm for Jake Browning. I don't think he's gonna just be stinking it up the entire time until Joe Burrow comes back. They got to get some wins, stay competitive, things like that. But after the game that Jake Browning had last week, granted he did have some picks, the game winning drive, they was like, nah, we ain't finna have that 2 weeks in a row. We're gonna have you look like shit. We'll get to some of the Mo games, but let me see what we said. Trevor Lawrence is so mid too. He been mid his whole time in Jacksonville. And actually, no, I'll take that back. He had like one decent year the year they went to the playoffs. But other than that, yeah, he's been mid at best. Even in their win against the Texans, since that's a great segue, they won 17-10, and it took CJ Stroud hanging in the pocket, waiting for somebody to tip the ball as he threw it, just so it would sail into the Jaguars' hands so they could seal out the game. And I expect the second game of this divisional rivalry to be just as close. It might be a split down the middle. Might be a split down the middle. What's up, Bronze? What's good with you? Yeah, that shit had me nervous though, bro. I thought the Jets would fuck around and win that game until I saw how much time they gave them. I was like, that's a good amount of time. Same thing they did with the Eagles and Rams game. That's a good amount of time for Matt Stafford to cut his way down the field, slice and dice his way down the field. Blue Power Tech said, but Rodgers passing Favre and having 509 touchdowns and 244 games is something else, though, not going to lie. Yeah, I mean, he's had a great career. He's going to be NFL Hall of Famer, things like that. So, yeah, I still don't think they're going to win the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people mentioned the Steelers could play the Packers, which obviously the storyline writes itself. Successor versus the teacher, the mentor, if you will. And that same mentor just so happens to play his former team and be on the same team that he beat in the Super Bowl when he was with the Packers to win his only ring. That's a great storyline. I don't think the league gonna go that way because it's like, nah, it's a little too obvious. People connect the dots a little too fast, and I don't think they want that. So it cost a lot of people their survivor pools. Love going Super Bowl. Niners did the same thing. Lost to the Browns when they were crushing it. Yeah, Blackbird mentioned in the Discord. He was like the Packers, or not the Packers, the Browns tend to win games like this, which is very true. It's the other way. Oh, there we go. Move out the way of the chat. But yeah, they tend to win these close games like this against teams that might underestimate them, if you will. Or not the team, but the fans and shit. You know why teams refuse to give quarterbacks O lines like the Texans and Bengals. The thing about this is, especially if you have somebody that's mobile, they want to see you run around and shit like I don't want to say a show pony, but they really want you to put on a show. It's the same thing they did with Justin Fields at times with the Bears. They've done that with Lamar and the Ravens before as they fight for the loose football. But they'll make sure he doesn't have a line, so he have to run around and do all the jukes and all the crazy shit. Same thing they've done with the Chiefs in various moments where it's just we're gonna have Patrick Mahomes run around and then throw sidearm for the sake of entertainment. It's insane how the Bills always have a cupcake schedule. Yeah, it was similar for the Patriots when they run too in their division. Like where it's just the Patriots and really nobody else besides the Jets those couple years. The Bills were irrelevant as all hell, and the Dolphins were shit. I think they made the playoffs like maybe once, but other than that, they were shit. So they have 7 games where they were decided in the last 3 minutes yesterday. It's the most since 1970 or sometime in the 70s. God, dog. I know they was already at 5 before the Sunday night football game. And sometimes it be like that. There'll be weeks where it's like we got to have as much drama, action packed, cram packed, jam packed into 1 hour. Like all those blocked field goals, all of that shit was within 1 hour. And they were all maybe, I wouldn't even say 20 minutes or 20 real time minutes apart. They might have been all like 15, all in that witching hour. And I've mentioned before, when on red zone, that witching hour pops up. And also the same for the 4 p.m. slate, too, the back half. those games always all seem to be close hell at the same time. And they going to switch from this one to this one to this one to this game back to this game. And then they all on commercial break at the same time. Then we go back to this game. And sometimes you forget other games are on. You have to check. It's like, is this game still on? And then it's like, shit, this game closed. Why are they not showing this? And guess what? Conveniently, when these other two games they've been focusing on are over, all of a sudden that last game you was wondering about that they weren't showing, they just so happened to catch the tail end of it. So it's gonna be interesting tonight to see if the Ravens lose today because someone will be 1-3 next week. Excuse me. Yep, that'll definitely be interesting. It puts a lot of weight on that game for the Chiefs and the Ravens, which is gonna be like I think the 4 p.m. slate, like their main game or whatever. So you need that. How the hell you can't get a touchdown with Derrick Henry at the 1 yard line is a great question. It shouldn't even be a thing. It really shouldn't. And Lamar, he just hung the ball out like this. Said, come on, rip this shit out of my hand. Makes no sense. Well, it do make sense. We know why. You see the Chiefs going 1-3 since they barely squeaked into the playoffs. I would love to see the Chiefs go 1-3. And to be honest, I wanted to see them lose last night, but it's even funnier to see the Giants lose. And that is one thing I said last year about the Giants. I want to see them on national TV, especially primetime. Proving it again. We don't want to see the fucking sorry ass Giants on Sunday Night Football, not Monday Night Football. Don't put them on Thursday Night Football. Don't put them on Christmas, on whatever day that lands on. Don't put them on Wednesday. I don't give a shit. Do not put that sorry ass team on TV ever again. At least primetime. What's up, Money Man? Wow, what's good with you? Let's see where we are. Packers, Browns. Green Bay was up in this game 10 points. Vast majority of the game, Cleveland wasn't doing anything. And then that fourth quarter, all of a sudden, they could move the ball. The defense was doing their thing throughout the game. But you had Jordan Love throwing in double coverage, all of these sloppy, blatant turnovers. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? Really trying to make a game out of it for the Browns and the Packers. I understand. Big spread. I get it. But what are we doing here? On top of that, the Packers had a chance to win the game on the field goal, and it's one of those block kicks because it seemed to be a block kick fest yesterday. I lost count of how many games had block kicks because it just wasn't just the 1 p.m. game slot. It was the 4:05, 4:25 game slot. They had some block kicks in there as well. And I don't know what the theme's gonna be next week. Shit, it might be block punts for all we know, or every team damn near gets a kick return for a touchdown. But they love doing that little theme shit. But there's no reason that the Browns should have won this goddamn game, like for real. And the moment I saw them block that kick, I was like, yeah, this shit over with. Cleveland got this. Because where they were, they got a penalty before that kick, too, just like the Tennessee Georgia game, ironically. End up getting that shit blocked. I was like, damn, this is not a good sign, man. Not a good sign. And then they was able to get in the field goal range. I think they had a couple penalties assist as well. And Cleveland got the motivational win. So I feel like anytime Cleveland gets a big win, it's always off a field goal. It's hardly off of a touchdown or some shit. It's always a damn field goal with like 3 seconds left in the game. You got the Chargers. They won by 3, one of them one possession games. 3-0 on the season. Denver, they 1-2 now. They're still in the mix, obviously. But this seems to be the Chargers' year to win that division. I don't see anybody challenging them besides Denver. Maybe Kansas City if they just want to do that Mahomes, Justin Herbert rivalry, whatever you want to call it again. I don't see it. I think it's the Chargers this year. Raiders, they cook. They've been cooked. Sideshow. Saints got belt to ass 44-13 by the Seahawks. There's really not much to talk about there. Niners won 16-15. Another late game field goal. Another one. Another late game field goal. Remember, this is, I think, the last. Actually, yeah, it was the last 4 p.m., 4:25, what do you want to call it, game slotted game. And lo and behold, it just so happened to be a close game that kept you on the edge of your seat. And the fucked up part was red zone ended before the game was over, so you had to actually turn to the game or, sail the seas and pirate your way to the game. The Bears beat the shit out the Cowboys 31-14. Cowboys had that big emotional win against the Giants last week. All for naught. The letdown was there. You know the letdown always happens with the Cowboys and other teams, but mainly the Cowboys. When they got a big ass win against like a rival or something like that, guess what's gonna happen next game? And then CD Lamb got hurt too on top of that. Now you got Cowboys fans thinking the season over with, as they should every single year, but they going through it right now. They lost to a dude who paints his nails. And of course, Sunday Night Football, the Chiefs and the Giants kept the game close. Kept it close for the most part, around 6-6, 9-6, 9-9. Close like that. It was sloppy. It was ugly. Russell Wilson didn't put up 450. He put up, 160. Some picks before late in the game, Kansas City pulled away. And here we are with the Ravens selling right now. So Williams had a good game yesterday, but the overhyping is insane. Yeah, I actually agree with you though. Like it's one of them players they've been wanting to hype up for so long that it's like, bro, what are we doing? The hype is here, but what he's done is like down here. Like what are we doing? They did the same shit with Trevor Lawrence. The hype was up here. What he's done is down here. Ravens failed to hit them with play action. Of course, it was if it was real, you go heavy in play action pass after they sell out to stop D Hop. Oh well, classic point shaving. And the Ravens are one of them teams. If they play like shit in the first half, typically they do better in the second half, and vice versa. If they do great in the first half, expect some bullshit in the second half. Especially if it's against a team like a Bills, Chiefs, teams they are known to be playing these close games too. You really thought the Eagles were going to lose yesterday after that first half in a blowout. I know the biggest question about the Eagles has been when are they going to fall off? It might be a situation where it was that two? I think it was 2 years ago where they started off like 10-0. I don't think they're going to start off 10-0, but they start off hot and then all of a sudden they just started losing game after game after game. Somehow got to the playoffs and lost that game in embarrassing fashion. So the Cowboys are struggling. I think all of America's happy when the Cowboys are struggling. Let's be real. Let's be real. So the Packers had an easy schedule in the NFL. They obviously want them to make the playoffs. I mean, duh. Who else is you want to see the Bears in the playoffs? No. You want to see the Vikings in the playoffs? They can make it interesting, but no. The Lions, of course, they could be the second team to make it in that division, but yeah, Green Bay. That's one of those coveted teams I mentioned before. Teams like the Cowboys, the Packers, the Niners, the Ravens, Steelers. Who else? I think there's another team. Chiefs. Yeah, the Chiefs. Teams that usually make the playoffs, even if they don't win or anything like that, they make sure they're not bad for a long period of time. The Eagles, that's another one. They're not a bad team for a long period of time if they miss the playoffs. The Packers too much hype and bait. Every 6-year quarterback in Green Bay makes Super Bowl. They don't do it 3 times in a row. Same way every 28-year-old quarterback in Baltimore in year 7 made the Super Bowl until they did. I'm still hanging with the Packers on this one to win. I'm not losing my mind over one game to the Browns. It's not like they're gonna play him in the Super Bowl. What's good, PJ Allen? What's up with you? There's gonna be week 4 in every game so far. The Packers have been a heavy favorite. Now CeeDee Lamb is out for the Packers. And this is the game where Mr. Micah Parsons returns and plays his former team. You know that shit. Sunday Night Football. They had this circle. The whole league was like, yeah, we're gonna circle this. And right after that Micah Parsons trade, circle that. Circle that right there. Make sure this is the most hyped up game of the regular season. Probably won't be, but so far it will be. Till birds go birds, and that are the new Chiefs in the NFL are pushing them now. They are not the new Chiefs. They are definitely not the new Chiefs. The Eagles go to the playoffs, but won't win the bowl this year. At the pace they're going right now, it could trend that way. But at some point, them wheels gonna fall off. At some point, I know some people saying Saquon could get hurt or whatever. I think the real thing gonna happen is maybe they start doing a lot of dumb shit play call wise, or change up a lot of the blocking schemes that was working last year, and that's where the lack of production and he's not gonna get 2,000 yards rushing all that shit. That's when that's gonna come in. If Herbert don't win a playoff game this season, then something should have been said about Justin Herbert. Because the amount of hell that Josh Allen catches, the amount of hell that Lamar catches, yeah, Justin Herbert, yes, you definitely something definitely should have been said about him. Definitely should have been said about him. I know a couple years, he had Brandon Staley, sorry ass and shit as a coach. I understand that. Those years injuries, I understand that, but still, it comes to a point, comes to a certain point. Why is it that he gets a pass, but then the other ones over here get crucified? Say Bucks, Lions, Eagles can make the playoffs. I ain't worried about Tampa Bay. Yeah, I think they're gonna be fine. They're gonna go to the playoffs. Detroit, if they play like they did last week, or if they just keep winning games like they've done the last 2 years, they'll be fine. As far as going to the playoffs, as far as going to Super Bowl, all that shit, put a pause on that. That ain't happening. But playoffs for sure. The Rams not going to a Super Bowl because rivals don't go to or win Super Bowls in rival stadiums. Niners don't go to Super Bowl 56. Rams ain't winning without Donald or going. Baker could go if Baltimore is to go for a storyline. Baker versus Lamar for the I don't know how manyth time. But with the Ravens, man, I'm not sold on them going to the Super Bowl. There have been numerous years at this point where you could say the Ravens should have went to the Super Bowl. I'm not sold on them. Like I said with the Chiefs, I'm not, or not the Chiefs, the Bills, I'm not sold on them. Bills is for a different reason. There's a certain team they keep running into. The Ravens, it's you get to the divisional, you usually handle your business in the wild card, except that one time against the Titans. Get to the divisional, you might win the game. Then AFC Championship game, you already know what time it is. Especially if they were playing like a KC. Shit, if they was playing Buffalo, I'd still think Buffalo would get the nod over the Ravens. Marketing reasons behind that. The Lions versus Ravens not happening. Hell no. Hell no. That's way too black for the NFL. It's like, no, we can't have all that. Have all that. So the NFL been heavy set on Baker Mayfield since he went to Tampa. You mean they should give him a ring at this point? Yeah, I mean, he's definitely had a career resurgence in Tampa. But so soon after Tom Brady won there, it's kind of undermines, him. You'd have to gap it out at least maybe like I don't know 8 years or some shit like that. I don't know if he's gonna be there that long, but you'd have to space it out. It's just way too close. And we're not talking about just any other quarterback. We're talking about the so-called GOAT. They not finna they not finna do that. Like I said before, the Bulls ain't done shit since MJ won. Not even Derrick Rose, homegrown, could do it. The NFL been heavy set on Baker and Mayfield. Oh, yeah, I already read that. Also, we might get Carson Wentz versus the Eagles this season. Okay, that's fine. I could care less about Carson Wentz, but that's cool. Easy layup for a story if that's something they want to do for ESPN, Bleacher Report. But I do not give a fuck about Carson Wentz. See him beating the commies and making it close with the Bills. I don't even know who you're talking about right now. I might have skipped it. Yusuf said, guys aren't seeing the narrative of Lamar versus Jalen or Bills quarterback white boy. So they're gonna do back to back Super Bowls with black quarterbacks. Yes, I'm calling Pat Mahomes black in this situation. With black quarterbacks. Nah, bro. Nah, I feel like you saying that because you an Eagles fan though. As far as the Jalen Hurts part, they just went last year. He won. He won Super Bowl MVP and shit. They not finna do that. As far as the Bills go, those are really the two main teams in the AFC is the Ravens and the Bills as of right now. Unless there's a third team, I wouldn't say the Colts, but they are 3-0. They're in the conversation for now. And I've said numerous times about Lamar and who he hangs with and shit. So the NFL got to give the Jets some help at this point. They've been so bad for so long. Like I don't know who's worse, them or the Cardinals. As I mentioned before, the Browns have made the playoffs multiple times in this long ass playoff drought that the Jets have gone through. I mean, hell, the Cardinals went to a Super Bowl at this time. The Lions have been to multiple playoff appearances and the NFC Championship game in this long ass drought, bro. Like Jets fans should be the new Aints fans. They need the bag on their head. Not the Saints. Shit. The goddamn Jets. The Saints, they had Drew Brees at least. It was like at least they go into the playoffs, even if they don't win it anymore. They at least can go to that motherfucker. But the Jets, they can't even sniff the playoffs. They can't even sniff a wild card. Thomas said the Bills not going Super Bowl until their new stadium is built. You know what I was thinking about that though? I ain't even gonna lie. Obviously, a lot of people think they're going this year because it'd be a good way to open up or close out the old stadium and open up the new one, kind of like the Falcons did, except that they didn't get the Super Bowl. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. They got all this hype around the new stadium. They already got a lot of hype now, but all this hype around the new stadium, then they finally overcome everything. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not sold on it yet. We'll see. Steelers versus Eagles could be a possible matchup in the Super. The Eagles back to back, bro. That'd be a crazy matchup though. A Pennsylvania State Super Bowl. Old ass Aaron Rodgers versus Jalen Hurts. They wouldn't do that shit, bro. Nah. Hell nah, bro. Unless he the new Eli Manning or some shit. Nah. Have him beat Pat Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers, even if he is 41 years old. That'd be a crazy resume though. Said the Saints won a Super Bowl with Drew Brees. Yeah, of course. Seahawks beat Peyton Manning and lost to Brady in terms of career comparison. Lamar's like Peyton, Mahomes is like Brady, Hurts is like Russ. That's a wild comparison. Max AC says the year of the horse. Okay. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? Oh, I see. He said Denver or the Colts. I got you. Got you. Oh, I know Giants fans would be sick. I was just thinking about that. If the Colts did go to the Super Bowl and win, oh, I know Giants fans would be hella sick because the year before you had the best running back in the league. Y'all passed on him. Y'all said, nah, we good. We don't need him anymore. Goes on to win the Super Bowl. Now you turn your old quarterback into a safety for a little bit on the practice squad. Then he goes to Minnesota and then he goes to the Colts. And if he did, that would be the funniest shit in the world. And I don't know if I'm the only person who noticed this, but if you look at Daniel Jones' picture, like when they do the player, I don't want to say avatar, whatever that is, he looks like a serial killer. Not saying he is, but that nigga eyes are just like emotionless as all hell. Like he looked like he didn't go. He looked like Dexter or that nigga Mr. Robot. Do I think the Niners go 10-0? Hell no. Hell no. They don't go 10-0. especially after they lost Nick Bosa. Hell no. 67 yarder. Missed it to close out the half by Bates. You feel like there's some forced hate on Jalen Hurts? I agree. I 100% actually agree with that shit. Yeah, it's like even after the fact they're like, oh, he's not a good quarterback. I'm like, he's not bad. He really ain't a bad quarterback. I know, does it help having Saquon and this great ass offensive line and the tush push? Sure. But he's not a bad quarterback. I'd say, if anything, he's definitely a fringe top 10 quarterback. That nigga said Mac Jones is really still in the league in 2025. I'm a little surprised by that too. Yosef, we get it. You like the Eagles, dog. We 100% get it, dog. We get it. That's cool. You want a cookie? That's cool. You think the Niners win next week, but lose after? You're going to have to tune into the Pick'em show on Thursday, my boy. Also, you don't understand what they're trying to do with the Texans and Bengals at this point. They really like placeholder teams. Like, I know some people mentioned that the Texans could go to the Super Bowl and all this other shit before the season. I've never seen that. I've never seen that for the Texans. And it's crazy because they've been around for 20 years. I just don't see it. They're a team that you kind of put in the AFC South, like, yeah, win it. Most of the time, y'all gonna win that shit. This year it might be the Colts. But most times y'all gonna win that shit. And the Bengals, y'all are there to make shit exciting. Just make shit exciting. Y'all the wild card. Because you don't know what the hell you're gonna get for the Bengals. They might put up 30. They might put up 3. You don't know what the hell you and then the quarterback, you don't know what the hell you're gonna get with Jake Browning. He might put up 400. He might put up 40. You don't know. And they always tend to have good receivers. Even going back to Chad Ochocinco. They always had some good wide receivers. So I honestly don't even know who's gonna win the Super Bowl if the Packers don't make it. But I think about the Steelers Packers Super Bowl. I talked about this earlier. It's a story that writes itself. Am I sold on it? No, I feel like it'd be just way too obvious. But it's a story that writes itself. That's a layup for every journalist, sports broadcaster, analyst. That matchup right there. And you know Steelers fans travel too, so you ain't even got to worry about the fact that it's on a whole nother the Super Bowl's on a whole nother coast. No, them Steelers fans, shit, they probably got Steelers fans in Cali. They be there. They gonna be there. Packers fans, they travel good too, so that wouldn't even be an issue. Texas kind of like a team that gets a tiny break since they're the youngest. You know what's crazy? It seems to be they get more of a break, just I guess more consistently than the Jags do, and the Jags have been around longer than they have. Obviously, Jags had the AFC Championship game and shit, but Jags have gone through hell. Damn near every year in between that shit. Harbaugh West get in the bowl. Jim, I assume you're talking about Jim. You heard Cowboys win the division this year because you heard a clip of Dak saying we'll see you in the NFC Championship game to I don't think it was Matt, but somebody on the LA Rams. I saw that clip earlier. This was like a preseason game. Again, I don't trust the Cowboys. If the Rams win, would I be shocked? No, but I damn sure don't trust the Cowboys. And boy, if they went, you would never hear the end of this shit from Dallas Cowboys fans. Like leading up to that, you would listen, social media, all that shit would have to be off. All notifications off. God forbid they go to the Super Bowl. Oh, hell no. Hell no. Shit, Stephen A. Smith might start digging his own grave at that point. And then Skip Bayless will be tap dancing on top of it. So Kirk Cousins watch him go to Cincy. Oh shit. That'd be some funny ass shit though. So that's terrible. Be the youngest franchise and not win anything, then be the oldest like the Lions and Cards and not win anything. The Cardinals, oh my God. I don't even know who this thing. Good Charlotte. I don't even know who that is. But yeah, the Cardinals, man, shit. They only have 7 all-time playoff wins. And I had to double check. I was like, ain't no way. They've been around this damn long. They've been in Chicago, St. Louis, Arizona. 7 wins, dog. 7? 7 playoff wins. And most of them, I know at least for me and some of y'all, we saw it during that Super Bowl run. And then the NFC Championship game run with Carson Palmer. The Lions are kind of righting their wrongs right now, but the Cardinals, oh my God. And it don't look like it's going to get any better for the Cardinals either. It doesn't. Even when they had, obviously, Josh Rosen that was a one-off thing. You know, Steve Wilkes wasn't going to stay there long. Then, that lame duck black coach, like I always mention, he's going to be there for a year. They're going to fire him and get somebody else, and then they start winning games and shit. But, yeah, Kyler, a 5'2" quarterback, obviously ain't it either. I wouldn't doubt it. He's been acting like a little bitch. Not Andy Reid, but Travis Kelce. Ever since that Super Bowl, not last year, but the one before that, he was acting like a little bitch. Over throwing tantrums and shit. It's like, bro, you were too old to be throwing tantrums like this on the sideline and like putting your hands on the coach like that. Nah, you tripping. I'll be so glad when that nigga retire. And the messed up part is, I wouldn't be surprised if they showed Taylor and him whenever he retires, and they still together. If they still together, show both of them in a press box at the Chiefs games whenever they score. Would not shock me at all. The Niners done going to Super Bowl. Their best chance to win was 2 years ago when they lost to the Chiefs, to the Chefs. That really was their best chance for real though. And right now, after they paid Brock Purdy, yeah, that shit was done. But like I said, they wanted to cover the teams. They can still make it to the playoffs. I ain't saying this year, but in general, there's gonna be years where they make it to the playoffs like usual. That man said BLM. Ain't no way. It's a great story. Lamar versus Jalen Hurts, BLM NFL. I'm gonna act like that BLM ain't there. But the NFL era. Personally, I wouldn't mind seeing it. I would actually enjoy seeing that. But you know how the league get down. They ain't gonna have that. 2 niggas? Hell no. And I've already said with the Lamar Jackson shit, but y'all gotta drop this shit with Lamar. Michael Parsons of the Packers feels similar to Barkley with the Eagles. I agree. Nigga said 2 black quarterbacks only happening on Madden. Madden, the one game where you could be Marcus Mariota as a 67 overall and win the Super Bowl and go undefeated doing it. Colts have a good QB when they sucked in New York. I'm convinced the Giants are cursed, bro. It's like everything, every player that leaves has more success anytime they go somewhere else. Except Odell Beckham. Actually, no, he won the Super Bowl. Ain't that some shit? He left the Giants and won the Super Bowl. Saquon left and won the Super Bowl. If that nigga Daniel Jones won the Super Bowl, I'd lose it. I'd be kind of mad, but it'd be funny as hell at the same time. Like, y'all let this motherfucker serial killer win the Super Bowl? That's crazy. Are we ever going to see Anthony Richardson again? Do we want to see Anthony Richardson on the football field again? 49% pass. Do we really want to see that shit? Because I know I don't. I mean, I wish him the best, but I sure as fuck don't want to see that bullshit again. Because, I mean, hell, he only had 13 games starting at Florida. 13 games. Did he even complete 2 years worth of games in the NFL starting? I don't think so. Because he's been hurt every single time. Think the Saints go 0-17? I don't think so. They'll steal a divisional win or something. They're going to be ass, but they're going to steal a win or two. Definitely going to steal a win. Because that NFC South division, it always be some. That's the one that's always some fuckery that makes no sense. The Falcons, it seems like they can never get past the Panthers. For whatever reason it is, they struggle against the Panthers. So, yeah, I could see the Saints beating one of them teams. Two Cali boys, Jordan Love and Josh Allen. That's not a crazy pick. You know, you don't know how you can prove it, but the Dolphins haven't been the same since Mike McDaniel, said he was black. Hey man, I'm still not sold on the fact that he said it. I mean, I don't know what his dad looks like. I'm gonna need to see some pictures. I was like, ain't no way. Who the black coach? He said Dolphins got a black coach. Like, no, Brian Flores got fired. Nah, Mike McDaniels. Mike McDaniel. You sure? I don't I don't believe that shit, bro. I don't believe it either. I'm gonna need to see some parents or something like that. Cause he look a little sunburnt. You know what I'm saying? He don't really look. He ain't got that brownish hue. He looks very sunburnt. He should have been fired last year. That man looked like he don't know what the fuck he doing out there. Cause this will be the second coach that done fumbled around what they got in Atlanta. Like when they got some good players, they just fumbled the shit away. Smith before him fumbled the shit away. Raheem Moore, same thing. Dare I say they won't be good until they get a white head coach. The Falcons. Okay, we need to pause here real quick. That would be the dumbest shit the Saints could do at this point. Draft the Arch Manning #1 to go full. So I get the storyline behind it, but Arch Manning ain't all that. He really ain't. And on top of that, he gonna have to stay another year. Because if he tried to go out this year, oh no. If he went to the Saints, it'd be like Shedeur Sanders all over again. Obviously a little bit higher though. But I think Tua done his QB or he gets traded and does better elsewhere. Can he stay healthy? That's the real question. But like I said with the Dolphins, they just need to blow up the whole team. Fresh start, get rid of coaches, get rid of Tyreek Hill. It's clear he don't want to be there no more. Just start over, start from scratch. Accept the fact you're gonna be sorry this year, probably next year, unless you make a splash in free agency, trades, etc. But yeah, they just need to blow it up. Wouldn't be surprised if Tua got another starting job somewhere else because there's always teams that need quarterbacks going into the next season or at the end of whatever season they in. It'd be something if he became a Saints quarterback. Giants is not a curse. It means everything runs through New York in a way. They spawn success. Spagnola, Belichick, Saquon, Daniel Jones. They had to be a Giant first. I get what you're saying. But them niggas sorry. Fuck all that. Tyreek Hill should have stayed with the Chiefs. Yeah, I knew he was tripping the moment he said that Tua was more accurate than Patrick Mahomes. I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. The fuck out of here with that shit. Because I feel like every time Tyreek Hill has to catch a pass from Tua, it's like the most difficult shit in the world. It's never right in the breadbasket. This nigga got to jump up here. He got to do all this acrobatic shit. At one point, I'm not surprised if he has to do a backflip to catch one of his passes. And you can tell he be mad as hell, too. He got to slow up and shit. and then defenders can catch him and shit. As a result of that, like, come on, that's like Devontae Adams. He was playing with Jimmy G. He was frustrated as hell. All them hospital balls and shit. It's like, bro, it's like I've been getting hit my whole career, even in Green Bay, and now this shit. Come on. The long season Arch will go number one overall. I'm assuming is what you're saying. Do I remember Archie forcing Eli to go to New York over San Diego? Dog, he ain't nothing like Eli or Peyton, dog. I don't know if you've seen him play, but he's nothing like either of those. You got to remember Archie, whatever the fuck, the one that played for Texas. You got to remember he's the son of Cooper Manning, the one man that didn't go to the league. People forget that shit. He ain't Eli's son or Peyton's son. No, sure he got great uncles to learn from, bruh. No, he got a lot to learn. He is not going number one overall anytime soon. You know the Falcons didn't try and get Kellen Moore. The Falcons can't do shit right. It's like if they get the right players, they can get the right coaches for shit. If you don't produce in Philly the first 5 games they want you gone, teams got different standards. Some teams are used to losing. That's why some fan bases they used to the losing and shit. So it's like, whatever. Like Bears fans are used to losing. It's not a shock to them. Cardinals fans are used to losing. It's not a shock to them. At this point, Raiders fans should be used to that shit. Browns fans, they've been used to losing. It's not surprising. Lions fans, obviously they winning now, but that's how it is. Like Patriots fans, I know they was going through it when they started losing a lot of games because you're so accustomed to Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl, Super Bowl. And now all of a sudden you get 4 or 5 wins on the year. As a fan, they don't even know how to process that shit. I can't even pronounce his full name. Like his whole name. Yeah, I can't pronounce that shit. But I think a lot of them pro wrestlers too. A lot of the Samoans, like they got them extra long ass names, but they shorten it out. So it ain't just Tua. A lot of them Hawaiians, Samoans. If you just look through history at just some of the names, it's the longest, toughest shit to read and pronounce in the world. I'm like, ain't no way y'all remember this shit. And there's no way y'all wrote this shit on a birth certificate. There's just no way. God no. God no. We don't need to see that again. Actually, it wasn't too bad between Stafford and Burrow, but we don't need to see that shit again. Unless Burrow comes back, no shot Bengals make it back. Yeah. They cooked, man. They a poverty franchise. They cooked. Jetsons need to pull the plug on Justin Fields at this point. They need to pull the plug on the whole goddamn team. Fuck one player. Just pull the plug on the entire team. Oh, wait, they did that and it didn't work. And they did that before that and it didn't work. And they did that before that and it still didn't work. Yeah, just get rid of the team. We'll be good with 31 teams. Get rid of the Jets. We don't need them. So Archman doing commercials for eyeglasses. Or eyeglass wear company, wondering how much pay that is. I don't know. I don't know what his NIL deals specifically like for that. And a lot of them NIL numbers aren't even 100% accurate either. Because you got to factor in, say, taxes, the manager gets their cut, things like that. Whatever's in the blueprint and the fine print, not the blueprint, in the fine print and things like that. Because there are some players that have left, say a school or transferred, and people think, oh, it's just for more money. No, the whole time they didn't tell you that whoever the manager was who set up the deal was taking 80% of the shit, or they was promised X amount of dollars and they ain't getting none of that shit. And that's something that goes on. They don't really talk about with the NIL shit. People just assume, oh, everybody getting paid millions, and no. There's a whole layer of scandal under under that shit where players are getting screwed over. There's a Chicago Bears player, I don't know if he's still with the team, that he signed an NIL deal, and in the fine print it has somewhere that he had to it was actually it was more of an advance. He had to repay in advance over like 20 years. Mind you, his NFL career would not last 20 years. So even after he retires, he's still gonna have to pay this shit back. And I'm sure he's not the only one that's had to deal with that. I'm sure there are other players too that whenever it comes time for them to be on a podcast and they retired and they talk about their experience with the NIL, they gonna speak out about the shit. But right now, yeah, they keeping that part under wraps. Bro finna go out like Andrew Luck the way the O-line don't want to block in the weight. He injury prone now. I feel like every, or at least the last 3 Bengals quarterbacks, including Joe, have gone through this shit where they weren't bad quarterbacks, but they was in a situation that you can't be there long term, extremely long term. Like Carson Palmer had to go through that shit. Andy Dalton. It's just what it is. You go to a poverty franchise like that. You know, see the Bills making it due to the Hard Knocks and their defense, the Hard Knocks jinx. Yeah, I agree with you on that Hard Knock shit though. But if the league's smart, that should be one of the teams in the AFC. But now no one brings up Allen's playoff record versus 7 seeds and 9-7 seeds, which Allen is 3-6 versus 9-7 seeds. Say Sanders to Atlanta. Hold up. Wait, hold up. Run the Did I miss something here? Sanders to Atlanta. It would, like, if that was a thing, that'd be great storyline. But what? Nah. we get the storyline there. Primetime is there, but nah. So the NIL is another student loan? No. I'm saying that some of these, if they're horribly managed, whenever they're negotiating NIL, some of these slime ball ass managers and groups that do this, because each school has their own, and they might partner with other companies, local companies within the city. There might be some fine print that they know these young players don't know about. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying every single NIL is like your FAFSA or some shit like that. No. It's really a situation where, which I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't think it would be this bad. Because like a lot of these players who get him, you got to remember their dad was in the league too. So they should at least know how to maneuver with this shit, or know people who can maneuver in this situation. But yeah, you see a 18, 19-year-old don't really know nothing about the legal system, how contracts work. Of course, you're going to try to pull one over on them if you a slime ball ass agent, lawyer, manager, anything like that. You think you can pull a fast one on them, or you think they family came from nothing, or they came from the hood, so they really don't know shit about contracts and shit like that. So that's something that people never factored in. Do I? You gonna have to retype that one, bro. I ain't gonna hold you. Chris Canny talked about it. So the only reason why you say Sanders to Atlanta is because of Penix doesn't work out. I'm not overreacting off one game against the Panthers. And with Sanders, he ain't NFL starter ready. Sure, would it sell jerseys? Another Sanders in the ATL? For sure. The hype would be crazy. But he ain't ready, bro. He is not NFL ready like that. No. Because if you notice, a lot of these rookie quarterbacks, they don't come in the league just lighting shit up, bro. Like most of the time, they throw for 170 yards in their first game. Sure, there's some outliers like Cam Newtons and things like that, but they don't come in just lighting it up, bro. Again, this ain't Madden. You can't go in there with a 67 overall Shador and think, oh shit gonna be sweet and we just gonna win every game. No. He's in a Penix that is in a similar situation like Cam Ward. It's not that he's not a bad quarterback. He's in a shit system. But bad coaching. So if like a new team will win a ring this decade, especially due to the fact a new team won one ring every decade. Damn, really ain't had a new team, have we? Damn, that's crazy. You're not wrong about that. Floyd says Ravens win tonight but lose next week to the Chiefs. That would make them what 2-2 potentially. Too high defense has been ruining football offensively. Oh, too high shell. I forgot who was that bitching about that shit. I think it was Mel Kiper. Was talking about that 2 years ago. He was like, yeah, too high shell needs to be outlawed and all this shit. I'm like, what? They run that shit in college. What are you talking about? What are we talking about here? What do I think of JJ McCarthy? I need to see more for him. I need to see a whole lot more. Like what 2 games ain't enough. That's really I need to see way more than that. Whatever preseason he got hurt in the preseason last year, I need to see a lot more from an NFL standpoint. Because to be honest, I really didn't think much of him coming out of Michigan. They would show this fucking drop. I feel like they're gonna show this shit every time Mark Andrews is playing. At least he caught that one. I don't live in Baltimore. It's just a shirt. So also they're gonna have the Chargers lose games to keep the division close. Absolutely. Absolutely. Every team they do that for. Some teams they'll give them a runaway as far as winning the division. But yeah, that division when you got the Broncos in there as well. Yeah, I do think they gonna lose a couple games to keep it close. They might lose a divisional game. Shit, they might lose a second game to the Chiefs. Because the division standings gotta matter too. Did I think Eli Manning was a good quarterback, or was it fixed for him to win more Super Bowls than his big brother? They tied with 2. Same team compared Peyton leaving his team, and he beat Brady twice in both Super Bowls. It's kind of really a balancing act. And do I think Eli? He wasn't a bad quarterback. Excuse me. But I don't think he was close to as good as his brother was. No. He's more of a balancing act. Because like Peyton won with 2 teams. Peyton was always the better regular season quarterback. He had all the MVPs, all the accolades and shit. But he couldn't beat Brady. Finally did later in his career. But that was like the big bad wolf to him. On the flip side, Eli didn't make the playoffs a whole lot. But when they did, they go to Super Bowl and play against the so-called GOAT and win. It's kind of like a payoff, a trade-off. That Shador go to the Dolphins if they trade Tua. The NFL fans' judgment QB analysis of a quarterback is pretty much 4 games at this point. Depends on the quarterbacks. If we talk about your Josh Allen's, your Lamar, players that have been in the league 6-7 years, we got a lot more to work from. If it's a new team, a little bit less. Rookie quarterback, 4 games, but really 3. Realistically, 3 games. Expect the Eagles to split with the Commies. Cowboys, you don't know about the Giants though. Like I said, the Giants they cook. There's no way, shape, or form to get around it. They cook. As long as the Packers don't see the Niners in the playoffs, they should be fine. That seemed to be Aaron Rodgers' kryptonite when he was there too. It was always them damn Niners. AFC West might be a war between Herbert and Mahomes. Herbert wins at the end. Things gonna be Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders. Raiders definitely cook. Unless Geno Smith turns into what was that 2021? No, it was 2022 Geno. Whatever year it was he first got to Seattle and balled out, became a Pro Bowler. Unless that happens within the next 2 to 3 games, Raiders are cooked. Do you feel bad for Dolphins fans? I don't. They get great weather. I don't feel bad for them. Now, if you have a sorry ass team and you in cold, shitty weather, oh yeah, I do feel bad for you then. Am I surprised how Daniel Jones and the Colts are playing? Initially, yes, but obviously factoring in Jim Irsay's passing, I'm less surprised. I'm mostly surprised by how well Daniel Jones has been playing himself, not so much the team winning. Like if it was Jonathan Taylor carrying the load and Daniel Jones was putting up 150 passing every game, and it was clear he wasn't the main reason, I'd be like, okay, I can see that. But this man out here playing like an MVP, yeah, this ain't right, man. This ain't right. But it's oh so funny though. Oh so funny. Dolphins should have broke that 70-point record when they played the Broncos. Because after that game, the Dolphins haven't been the same. That would have been the highlight of that whole tenure with Mike McDaniels had they broke their record. Expect the AFC West to be like 2021 because it feels similar to that season. Oh shit. So the Saints have really been that bad. That they made Carr quit. Not even the Raiders could do that. You should have knew that was gonna happen after Drew Brees retired. Like it's Derek Carr. He's like the definition of mid. He's like Jimmy G. They in that same category. They both injury prone as hell, and you know you're not really gonna do shit with them. Only exception is, of course, Jimmy G's been in the Super Bowl numerous times, despite him. Do I think the Niners 3-0 start is a trick or is legit? It's a fucking trick. Hell no. I forgot they was 3-0 to be honest. Mm. That was a good pass, good execution by Jared Goff right there. Perfect ball play. Look at that. If that was Tua, ain't no telling how St. Brown would have had to jump to catch that pass. He probably would have been out of bounds if it was Tua. He probably would have dived all the way to the right, and his feet would have been out of bounds. Or if anything, Tua would have thrown a pick. All right, I'm finna be on here 5 more minutes. I'm gonna slide, cook me some food. Hit that like button too. Smash that like button. RKO that shit too. But yeah, the biggest game this week, just to wrap up. Packers selling like hell. Titans, they cooked. That was not the biggest game at all. Don't even think that. Chargers going to 3-0. That was actually I'll say that was a bigger win than people realize. That win over the Broncos, because that's definitely going to be something that factors in near the end of the year. That game right there. That 23 to 20 game. Jacksonville, they're one of them teams. I don't even know what to think of them. Defensively, they good, but I don't know what are we getting out of this? Like an 8-9, 9-8 team. They've been winning, but it'd be ugly as all hell. They be skating by too. But I'm oddly curious. And yeah, 10 p.m. My sleep schedule and my eating schedule is all types of weird. I usually like 2 different meals around this time, at 10 p.m. till midnight. Yeah, 10 p.m. to midnight is usually like where I just Eat 2 meals to make up for what I didn't eat earlier in the day. Wait until Mac Jones starts relapsing, starts throwing ins like he was in New England. Do they have another Mac Jones? The Patriots, do they have another Mac Jones on their hands? I don't think so. I wouldn't say so. This is a quarterback we talking about that has gone through 2 different coaching staffs off rip. Usually when a quarterback has to go through that many coaching staffs, they kind of get screwed over at some point. It almost fucked over Baker Mayfield with the coaching changes and things like that in Cleveland. Marcus Mariota is probably one of the worst cases of that, where just constant OCs, constant new head coaches and shit, and it just and the injury too, and it really just hurt him, stunned him. So what I'm cooking up, try my hand at some oysters. Try something different this time. NFL really made the Packers play down to the Browns level, but won't help out the Texans because it's the Texans. And they had their shine 2 years ago anyway. First year head coach and a rookie quarterback. Also, what's up with the Broncos being 1-2? I mean, they lost to a 3-0 Colts team, a 3-0 Chargers team. They've been losing to like good teams. That's why. And they had an ugly win against the Titans. So I think they're gonna be in the mix for the AFC West, but even then, they win ugly. When they win, it's gonna be ugly. Just know there's gonna be some ugly wins. They might have a couple blowouts, but it's gonna be ugly. Might be the sophomore slump for Bo Nix. They've been putting Bo Nix down for some reason. But yeah, I think this is gonna be his sophomore slump year, Bo Nix, that is. Same way people expecting that with Jaden Daniels, but he's been injuries been the main thing for Jaden. But yeah. When do I see the Texans making the AFC Championship? When I grow dreads as long as they were before. That's when. Bills Rams Super Bowl, Bills winning. This is all alleged, by the way. Allegedly, they win it. But yeah, man, I'm finna slide like electric up out of here. Like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, wear some condoms, say no to drugs, all that good stuff. We out.